Everyone, so we're back. Our chicken is marinated and we're going to start moving on to the next step. So here's our finished chicken marinated product. I think it turned out really nicely. I made sure to up the proportions earlier in the video and cover it in the fridge, and I think it came out really nicely, and we're ready to start frying. But first, we're actually going to have to put our breading material on. We're not going to use breadcrumbs, but what we're going to do is we're going to just pour some flour onto our tray. And we're going to pour some cornstarch onto our tray as well. Now, I really like this wide-rimmed tray for doing things like breading and coating and things like that, because it has sloped up rims, and they prevents a good chunk of mess from going on your counter. I'm using cornstarch and flour here. It's more recommended that you use potato starch, though I couldn't find potato starch, so I'm just using cornstarch instead. It still works. You just won't get as crispy skin, but if you put more on, you should be a little more cornstarch on, you should be okay. Check our oil temperature. I've had this preheating. So right now our oil temperature is right around 350 degrees. We want our oil temperature to be at 325 degrees Fahrenheit when we're actually frying our chicken. So we're gonna let this oil cool down for a little bit while I start marinating our chicken. Not marinating, sorry, coating our chicken. So I've got our cornstarch and our flour. So first what we're going to do is we're going to move our Dutch oven cover here, and we're going to take our chicken out of the marinade like this. Have our chicken here. We're going to dredge it in the flour. Make sure it gets all nice and coated. Just run it around. We're going to tap off any excess flour. And we're going to throw it right on. Just want to make sure our screen stays bright. We're going to throw it right on our cornstarch. Make sure it gets nice and coated in the cornstarch. That part doesn't have flour. We're going to make sure there's flour. And this cornstarch too. So we got flour and cornstarch and everything. So we'll put that little chicken there to be fried. And we'll do the same with our next chicken. Make sure it gets nice and coated in flour. Dust off any extra. And throw it in the cornstarch. Throw that there too. I'm gonna rinse my hands for a second. Dry them off. And check on our oil. What's our oil looking at right now? Whoops, actually, sorry, I should have dried off my hands fully. That's a little warm. We gotta wait for it to cool down a little more. Then we'll be ready. I just have to talk a little more loudly because we have some splattering. So now we're going to continue to dredge our chicken. Put some excess flour and into the cornstarch. And we keep going. You want to make sure all parts of the chicken are exposed to the flour so you get nice crispiness on all parts of the chicken. Same goes with the cornstarch.